the starting lineup for both teams. Kyle, first of all, over there for East Carolina, you talked about Maurice Kemp, but Miguel Paul is a guy that can really distribute the basketball, and he has got the attention of this Weber State staff.
Yeah, he's an outstanding point guard. Has set a single-season record for the number of assists he's passed out, and he takes very good care of the ball. Really doesn't turn it over, even though he has 230 assists on the season. Kind of sets the tone as that key, if you will, that turns the ignition.
Frank Otis, the senior, one of two seniors in the Weber State lineup to go along with Davion Berry. There you take a look at Jeff Lebo in his third season. Of course, he comes from an exquisite basketball pedigree, not only as a player at North Carolina, but then as an assistant and a head coach now in his third rebuilding stop at East Carolina after coming from Auburn. And on the other side of the court tonight, Randy Ray, a 1982 graduate of Buena Vista College, who had a lot of experience here in Utah. He was a longtime assistant for Stu Morrill up at Utah State. We had them in a championship game last year against Mercer. And now Ray in his 7th year with Weber State. And what a season they have had. They've won 17 of their last 18, 17 of 18 here at home. They've won 14 straight. Their only loss at home has been to BYU. So we're set to go. A lot of purple in this building.
A lot of purple on the court, both teams.
Purple and white, the colors for Weber State, who will be in the home white. East Carolina in a road purple. Doran Gottschall, Kelly Pfeiffer, D.G. Nelson, our three-man crew, and Weber State with the opening possession.
Weber State likes to play kind of a free-flowing offense, really concern themselves more with the defensive end, but they've got 3 outstanding perimeter shooters, but what makes them tough to guard are the big men, as you see right there, can really go to the basket, although that time got kind of trapped up, got called for traveling.
Nice double team on Tresnick. Weber State will work the ball inside out no matter who they're playing. And because they have done that so well this season, Kyle, they lead the country in 3 different statistical categories, including field goal percentage shooting and 3-point field goal percentage shooting.
Yeah, it really puts their opponents in a bind, because are you going to double down, and so that opens up the 3-point shot. And if you stay out in the threes, then it gives that big man a chance to play one-on-one.
Weber State answered with a double team of their own as they cut off Kemp that time. Armstrong, nice feed, and the first 2 of the game goes to Robert Sampson.
Sampson, you may recognize the last name, son of Ralph Sampson. Good cut down the lane for the layup. See, spacing for Weber State so important. Really try to stretch the floor inside out.
In fact, go inside out, and they make it count. Scott Bamforth, 45% from outside the arc, and he hits the Wildcats' first triple.
And we were talking with Jeff Lebo before the game. He said, well, maybe let him hit his first 2 or 3, see how he's shooting. I think he was joking, but you got to find Bamforth. Just too good of a shooter, 45% behind the 3. Quick release, too. Doesn't take long to get it off.
Pirates try to answer. Here's Armstrong, who transferred from Auburn when Jeff Lebo took the job, and that was a good-looking shot off the post-up.
Yeah, Auburn coming off a 20-point game against Evansville last time out. Shoots about 57% from the field, but with that kind of range, very impressive.
There he is again. Wow. Bamforth 2 for 2. And if he gets off to a start like that, my goodness.
And Jeff Lebo just staring at Maurice Kemp. It's like, you didn't pay attention to the score, this scouting report? You got to get into it. You can't let him get even a half second, because he's got a super quick release.
He's known for his quick starts. Ball tries to answer it. Bamforth got all 14 of his points against Northern Iowa in the semifinals in the first half. Here's Berry.
good heads-up play by Pearson that time, just kicking it back out to his teammate. One thing Coach Ray talked about his team, how unselfish they play. Really just sharing the basketball. No personal egos become involved.
What a pass. Boy, we talked about Paul's ability to feed the basketball to his teammates, and that was a pretty look to Sampson.
Defensively, you got to know where the ball is at all times. You have to see your defender, but also you have to know where the ball is.
Excellent offensive execution here in the early going.
East Carolina with 2-3 zone now.
Otis left alone.
Frank Otis coming in averaging 8.8 a game, but has really provided a great leadership for this team. He and Bamforth is stepping up and providing leadership Coach Ray was looking for. Wasn't sure how good this team is going to be coming into the year.
A lot of disappointment as they lost in a championship game in a Big Sky tournament, but they quickly turned that around into postseason motivation. Berry again.
Yeah, that's really Berry's strength. David Berry can shoot the ball well from outside, shooting about 47% from the field, but also handles the ball so well, get in those seams and draw a lot of fouls. Shot 187 free throws so far in the season.
Berry was only 4 of 15 last time out against Northern Iowa. As we mentioned, Weber State likes to take it to the rack anyway, but especially against this East Carolina team, Kyle. Jeff Lebo has really gone to a short bench here in the postseason, and he's got 4 guys averaging over 32 minutes a game.
Yeah, and they left immediately after the game the other night to come out and catch a quick flight, try to get used to the altitude out here. You said they don't go very deep, so try to keep that tempo up if you read the state.
Armstrong looking to post up. Tresnick with a nice defense. And a whistle away from the ball. It's a 5-second call. Weber State has only lost once at home, and they've gotten off to the kind of start they're looking for. Night out, but it has been a special season for them, Kyle, especially here at home.
Yeah, they had almost 5 to 6 hours of all the ticket windows were open yesterday. It took that long to get all the seats sold. Big crowd.
All the other way, and that's a big 2 for East Carolina out of the timeout.
Well, that was huge for East Carolina because their game is really at transition. Forcing turnovers, getting baskets. They had that 9 turnovers, led to 20 points against Evansville in the last game.
The teams will play primarily man-to-man. Tresnick got the position, but couldn't get the finish. Berry with a nice anticipation couldn't hold on. First sub of the game, number 1, Akeem Richmond, 6'0", 180-pound junior from Stanford, North Carolina, transfer from Rhode Island, checks into the East Carolina lineup. Harris Roberts Campbell heads to the bench.
Richmond, an outstanding three-point shooter, although he's been in a little bit of a slump from behind the three-point line. 4 of his last 23.
Well, what a move by Armstrong. He goes 6'8", 235, the junior out of Melbourne, Florida. He's averaged 15 points a game his last 3. What about that guy? Are you kidding?
You just can't leave him. You got to get inside his shirt and stay with him. You can't trail him on picks. Try to be physical with him, but to give him, like I said, a split second. He's got a great quick release.
The other thing, coach, is don't you try to deny him the basketball?
Yeah, try to limit his touches if you can.
Wow, I mean, goodness gracious. Bamford 3 or 3, all from beyond the line. Wow! How about that? There was some high flying there. Nice defense stopped the first attempt as Paul lobbed it up there, but not the follow by Armstrong.
And I think it's real important. East Carolina, they're going to have to try to go inside out every time. They got in trouble with it, took some quick shots earlier. It gave Weber State a chance to get that early lead.
Nice double team as Sampson got a hand on it. First Weber State substitution. Jalon Wheelwright, 6'1", 190 sophomore, checks into the game.
You see that last play, David, a little flip down to Sampson. Couldn't get it to go, but right there waiting to finish the play was Armstrong.
Nice closeout that time as Sampson got the block. Home crowd wanted the foul.
They got away with one with the body. You got all ball on the block, but what's down below on the body as Sampson comes flying out. A little bit of contact there, but they did retain possession. Sampson, excellent job closing on that quick jumper.
Jeff Lebo quickly going to his bench again. Michael Zangari, 6'9", 230, a freshman out of Lewisberry, Pennsylvania, into the lineup. And it looks like Sampson is over there on the bench, shaken up a little bit. Looked like he took a shot to the ribs after that block. So that's why Lebo had to go to the bench. Berry and Bamforth have been the story so far for the Wildcats. Nice feed from Berry.
Hollaboy on the little roll after the short pick, finishing with the slam dunk.
Joel Bollenboy separated his left shoulder, that's his non-shooting shoulder, against Northern Iowa on Saturday. They gave him an injection before the game. They weren't sure how good he was going to be, but he was plenty good on that one. And so was Armstrong.
Armstrong right now just having his way on the offensive end. He could get in more touches every time down the floor.
Armstrong 4 of 4 from the field, Kyle.
Tresnick really struggling to try to keep him away from the basket just too quick.
It's been perimeter players for Weber State against the bigs for East Carolina. Tresnick and one.
Good move by Tresnick. The down low post, just splits the defense, comes right to the middle. You've got to put pressure on the good offensive players. Even though Armstrong's been scoring so well, make him play some defense. Here you see the ball goes down to the low post. And just steps right through the defenders, uses that body as a shield, gets it up in the basket, draws a foul, and a chance to go for the three-point play. Have a tough catch there, but manages to control it. Just get it up over the rim.
Tresnick 6'10", 255, a junior out of Scottsdale, Arizona. He's averaging 17 points and 5.5 rebounds a game in the CIT, which is up from his 12-point per game average during the regular season. He gets a break now. And Frank Otis checks back in.
It's kind of interesting talking with Randy Ray about his team, how they kind of had their little pity party for themselves that they lost that tough game to Montana in the conference tournament. But since then, man, they've really embraced this tournament and really played exceptionally well.
You use that term tough. I mean, the two coaches, Randy Ray, Jeff Lebo, they demand that toughness. Armstrong went to the left hand, and that's his first force of the night. Hall now guarding Bamforth. Sampson back in there, didn't time the rebound. And here come the Pirates the other way. Prince Williams with the basketball just into the game. Oh!
Williams can supply some instant offense. So doesn't play a lot of minutes, but comes in, gives you a quick boost, a little energy, good size, good length defensively.
That would make him the Fresh Prince.
Okay, if you want to go there, sure.
Wheel right. That's a pretty drive. Boy, we've seen some athletic plays here early, Kyle.
Yeah, and again, it's all based on that spacing by Weber State, opening up the floor, allowing players to drive the basket, and then read. If it's there, take it to the basket. If someone comes over to help, give your teammate a good pass, finish on the pass.
Oh, Sampson was going up to throw that one down. The Weber faithful thought that their club got the block, but a foul is called. We'll come back and show it to you. How about we do that now? They're going at it in Ogden.
Every year, we pick
On the outside, as he's 3 of 3, as you see, from outside the arc. On the other end of the court, East Carolina has gotten all 16 of their points in the paint. And here's a look at that foul call that brought the crowd to its feet just before the break.
Well, just a little pick and roll, nice drive by Sampson going, and Holloway comes over. Didn't look like there was much contact. It looked like a pretty good block.
Sampson was certainly on 10 on doing something with aggression with that basketball. Had Bollenboy not stopped it. Jordan Richardson, 6'1", 185 junior, wearing number 5. With the basketball there into the lineup for Weber State. Time Benford thought he was fouled, but no whistle.
First attempt for Maurice Kemp. I think that's really in the game plan for Randy Ray. Come down to a quick shot like they want to transition, but if it's not there, get in a half-court set, keep the ball moving, make the defense shift, help your teammates get an open shot. East Carolina, though, like I said, the first attempt for Maurice Kemp, your high score, over 18 points a game. You need to get him some more touches, try to get him to look at the basket.
Armstrong has had a lot of success, but none of it coming with that left hand. You're right, got caught again. That kid can stroke it. That's a 2.
A little unusual coming off the pick on the dribble, but showing a good square up, good balance, finish the shot.
And interesting to see what Weber State does on defense, Kyle, because when we were talking to Randy Ray, he had gone down to Florida. As Sampson steps back and launches the 3. He'd had a conversation with Stan Van Gundy down there. And said, hey, it's pretty simple. Don't give up any layups or any threes. And right as we say that, to talk about the success they've had doing that, they give up the 3.
Yeah, don't give up threes, don't give up layups, and make the 2s tough. If you can do that, you're going to have success. And so far, it's really paid off with 30 wins this year. Richardson with a jump shot.
Nice job of recognition there, as it looked like East Carolina went a little zone that trip.
But I think he would allow Sampson to shoot more threes, only shooting 20% on the year from behind the three-point line. I think he can live with that one.
What he likes to say is make them shoot tough 2s, and that's a tough 2 by Armstrong, but he got that one to go. His 8th point of the night. Check it. Now he's got 10. First player in double figures. Armstrong with 10 and Sampson with 8. 18 of East Carolina's 22. Knocked away. Sampson got it on the floor. Told Jeff Levo you'd be about 12 minutes in, you'd only be down 4, and Kemp doesn't have a point. I think he'd be pretty happy with it.
Yeah, on the road, I think he's okay with it. Just kind of getting a feel for the game.
Goodness gracious, look at that 3 by Paul, and he wanted the foul.
He was about 2 full strides behind the three-point line. Kind of caught the defense by surprise.
East Carolina now 2 of 4 outside the arc.
No surprise they're putting points on the board. Both these teams averaging over 76 points a game. Kind of fun to see a game like that instead of the 43-50s we've seen a lot during the college season.
East Carolina had been knocking down 3s with regularity, Kyle. They had 8 straight games where they had 8 or more. But over the last 3 games, they've had 7 or less. What a no-look from Otis.
Talk about a guy that kind of gets it. All of a sudden, his senior year just kind of takes on and really leads the team. The senior from Oakland, California, has really stepped up his game in the CIT tournament.
Frank Otis with the play.
Yeah, and really understands what his strengths are and plays to those strengths. Doesn't try to do things that he's not capable of. I mean, he's shooting almost 63% from the floor. So that tells me he's taking real good looks at the basket. And if it's not there, he's not forcing shots.
And we talk about the shooting here, and as it's related to Maurice Kemp. 20-plus points in 8 straight games for the senior transfer from Miami-Dade. And he has not scored so far tonight. 0 for 1 from the field. And as we say that, hello, hello. That may have been the same message he heard from Jeff Levo in the huddle.
I would say so. Kemp tried to put a little, or not Kemp, but Otis tried to put a little body on him, but Kemp absorbed the shot and still got it to go.
Kind of a gamble here by East Carolina, Kyle, going to a zone the way Weber has shot from the outside.
Well, they've done it with Bamforth on the bench. So I'm sure if he checks back in the lineup here pretty soon, they won't stay in it long.
Weber State and East Carolina separated by just a point. The championship of the CollegeInsider.com tournament on the line starting Monday at noon Eastern, only on CBS Sports Network. Weber State's largest lead has been 7. East Carolina has led by 2. And a good one here in the first half in Ogden, Utah at the D Event Center. Kemp just got his first basket. And he can't get that one to go. James Hayek, 6'10", 250 from Omaha, in there for Weber State now, wearing number 45. Runner by Berry won't go. Davion Berry, we've talked about his production as well. He's only 1 of 3 here in this first half.
He is their leading scorer, over 15 points a game. First team all-conference player, the Big Sky, also newcomer of the year.
There you see Bamforth coming back into the game. 4 of 6 from the field, 11 points. He's 3 of 4 from outside the three-point line. Hall got 3. And here come the Pirates.
Well, that's East Carolina's game. They don't like to finish it with a turnover, but Dave, they really like to get those turnovers on the defensive end, transition into some offense. That time, Paul just got up in the air, didn't really know what he was going to do with the basketball, caused the turnover.
Weber State has only turned it over 5 times here in the first half. That was just the 3rd against East Carolina.
Carolina in the 2-3 zone still, but Bamforth back in the lineup, so you got to talk in that zone. Leaves him open, wide open in the corner.
Well, he doesn't waste any time, does he?
No, it doesn't need to be getting warmed up coming in off the bench. So we saw at the opening game, he comes out of the locker room hot.
Hall draws the contact, and he'll have a chance for the and one.
So off the dribble, a little shake to the middle, goes right back past Armstrong. Excuse me, Jordan Richardson, and finishes the play off the glass. Uses his body there. Not a whole lot of contact, but gets the call.
Hall, the senior from Winter Haven, Florida, transfer from Missouri. Now Tresnick, who started the game in the post, back in there for Hayek.
Now, Paul, like I said, really sets the table for his teammates. He's had 8 straight games where he has had 8 assists or more. Pretty impressive. No highs and lows, just pretty steady performance every night out.
Randy Ray was having an extended conversation over there on the Weber State bench with Frank Otis. I say conversation. Conversation is a two-way deal. As Berry gets his first triple.
Berry, a 41% three-point shooter. Struggled a little bit the last game, but bad side for East Carolina to see Berry knock down a 3, because he does a great job getting to the rim, and then starts making those outside shots real tough to defend him.
Almost 10 minutes in between threes for Weber State. And at the other end, Kemp with a chance for an and one of his own.
We talked about Kemp being able to put the ball on the ground, put it on the floor. A little fake there with a step across, and moves the ball to the left hand, absorbs that contact off the glass. Nice finish. You know, size-wise, 6'8" is good size, but only 190, so Weber State trying to be a little bit physical with him, knock him around a little bit.
And you know, Kyle, sometimes you get those unintended consequences. I don't think that we've seen Robert Sampson since he went out on that block where there was no foul called and came up a little lame. We're told that he hurt a knee on that play. We haven't seen him back in since then, but since then, East Carolina has come from 7 down to take the lead. Barry goes up and under, and he's called for steps.
Yep. Took that little half step when he gave that shot fake to step back through. Can't pick up that pivot, but good fake, though. But now Weber State crowd a little bit subdued. Maybe need a little highlight reel play trying to get this crowd back in the game, because East Carolina's done a good job making this run to take the lead, kind of taking the crowd out of the game.
They need a stop is what they need, and they did not get it there.
Team Richmond way out on the three-point line. Of course, now he's taken 289 shots on the year, now 290. 244 of those from behind the three-point line, so he's a specialist.
Kresnick can't convert. And all of a sudden, Weber State is beaten back on defense. Kemp.
The thing I really like about both of these teams, though, David, is offensively at all 5 spots you have to be able to defend, because all 5 players can score.
And a whistle away from the ball.
Richmond got called for wrapping up Bamforth on that cut up the lane.
Richmond trying to plead his case to no avail. That's his first.
Staying in that 2-3 zone, East Carolina.
Otis with a nice flash and probably should have gone up for the shot.
Well, the middle was open and he was looking high-low, but to a big man like his teammate Kresnick, you don't want to throw a bounce pass. Throw it up by the rim.
Long three. Richmond maybe got a little too frisky on that one.
That was inside the CIT logo.
Otis can't get the spin to go.
We've seen East Carolina made the decision defensively. They're going to play man up on the low post players, not give a double help or touch some of these perimeter players.
Richmond again. There's some guys that have got the green light. This time Barry.
Barry really good off the dribble and giving him a little crease, that little pick there. Wasn't a real solid pick, but just enough to get his shoulder past his defender and able to finish off the glass.
Almost 2.5 minutes, that scoring drought for Weber State. The Wildcats have only scored 7 points since the 9:30 mark. Kemp. And that's what Randy Ray wants his team to do.
Yeah, excellent defense and physical play.
Wants the opponent to shoot tough twos, and yet at the other end, they can't hold on and convert. Weber State and East Carolina. Exchange tournament. Great venue here, Kyle, at the D Events Center. They've hosted 3 different NCAA regionals. Jeff Lebo, the East Carolina coach, played here in 1986, and we talked about 1983. And of course, that was the magical year for NC State. They won the regional here when they beat Ralph Sampson's Virginia team. As Weber State changes defenses out of the timeout and force a turnover.
Yeah, and Jeff Lebo will do that. When he was coaching Tennessee Tech, I coached against him quite a few games, and coming out of a timeout, likes to change defense, or even on the first pass, try to trap the ball to kind of catch the offense by not ready for that kind of play.
They did that a lot when he was at North Carolina, but I think he got a lot of that from his time with Eddie Fogler. Fogler was a guy who did that all the time.
Yeah, you know, Dave, just trying to steal possession here or there.
Right.
If you can come out of a break like that and just steal one possession, it may come back to be the deciding play of the game in a close game. And the way this one's going back and forth. And I'm sure that's why he wanted to give it a try coming out of that last time out.
Richardson picks up his second.
Tresnick, normally a good free throw shooter, about 72% on the season.
Check that. That was Armstrong who picked up his second foul. And that'll probably get him a seat for the final 150.
A real important 150, Dave. Going into halftime, you want to try to get a little bit of momentum going into the locker room.
Momentum here in the second part of this first half has been with the visitors from Greenville. Ball for three. The Wildcat defense has certainly been better since the timeout, but can they convert at the offensive end? Otis goes to work.
Yeah, Otis with a big advantage down low, 220 pounds against the 190-pound Kemp, but just couldn't finish the play. Nice move to the middle, little half hook, but off the back of the rim.
Pretty drive.
Not sure how he snuck that one in.
Harris Roberts Campbell, the sophomore from Charlotte.
Between two defenders and off the glass.
What a big finish to this first half by East Carolina.
Bamford had been kind of quiet after the opening spree there. We hit those three three-pointers.
Still, he leads the Wildcats with 13. And now East Carolina with a basketball, a 5-point lead, and the last possession of the first half. Sampson back in there now for the first time in a long time. There he's setting the screen.
5 on the clock.
Camp off the feed from Paul, and it goes at the buzzer, and it'll count. 14-4 is the run for East Carolina to close out the first half of play. And the Pirates, who trailed by 7 early on, go to the locker room with a 7-point lead, 42-35 over homestanding Weber State. In the
length they have as a team and the athletes they have at all 5 spots, you just can't relax any one position because that player can step up and score as well.
Kemp with 9 points. He's coming off 8 straight 20-point efforts. Armstrong leading the way for East Carolina with 10. Bamforth with 13 for Weber State. And on its first offensive possession, Paul loses it out of bounds for the Pirates.
Jeff Lebo, not the way he wants to see the half start. I'm sure he drew up a play at halftime there, just a bad execution right out of bounds. Interesting to see what adjustments Weber State makes this second half. Look like they're going to try to go a little bit more inside. A nice spin move by Tresnick. Armstrong late recovering.
They do go right inside, and that was the first possession in a while, Kyle, that East Carolina had not gone with the zone. Sampson back in there. He hurt his knee in the first half on a shot block. In there with Armstrong, Paris, Roberts, Campbell with a basketball. Kemp, Paul. And Sampson. Shot clock at 3. Sampson for 3.
We're talking that first half, a 20% three-point shooter. So again, knowing your scouting report, no need to rush out there and try to block that shot.
Perry is fouled. Took a little bump on the hip. He's in there to start things for Weber State with Richardson, Otis, Tresnick, and Bamforth, who will inbounds underneath.
Back to that 2-3, Dave. Again, trying to attack the middle, or you can pick the wings maybe. You want to get some ball movement, get some player movement, not just stand and pass around the perimeter.
Richardson couldn't get it to go, but Wildcats get an offensive board.
Yeah, no man-to-man blockout responsibilities. Nice pass.
Wow, what a look from Barry. Just caught everybody napping. And the crowd has returned to the D Event Center. Paul with a tough penetration.
That was a tough one. Had the player right on his hip and moved it all the way to the left hand and reached out as far as he could. Still a nice soft touch to get it to roll in.
Kresnik. And Weber State keeps it alive.
Fabulous ball movement that time by the Wildcats. Very unselfish, moving around the perimeter to the wide open man, got the look.
Boy, East Carolina looking a little shell-shocked right now, Kyle. Jeff Lebo up off the bench, wanting his team to push the tempo. They had a lot of success doing that in the first half. And now Sampson is called for an offensive foul. And the Pirates are all kinds of disoriented.
Yeah, and all of a sudden the crowd's involved too. Here you see that last play, just a scramble to get the ball. Weber State comes up with it, keep moving it, give it up again, find the wide open player and nothing but net. Good ball movement. Last foul was called on Armstrong, I believe. If that's the case, that's his third. Weber capitalizes by going back inside.
Weber State has come out of the locker room and tied it up. A 9-2 run, and Jeff Lebo takes a timeout. Lebo trying to settle down the Pirates. Because here come the Cats. By Weber State. And Kyle Nacy, they've gotten back in it with great ball movement.
Very unselfish play. We'll just watch this replay. 1, 2, 3 passes to get a wide open look down underneath the basket. Earlier we saw 5 passes to get a wide open look from behind the three-point line. Just very unselfish.
Armstrong, big 6'8", 235-pound junior for East Carolina, now on the bench with 3 fouls. Here's Paul, and he can't get that one to go.
Look.
And for the first time since the 5:25 mark of the first half, Weber State has regained the lead.
Yeah, Jordan Richardson, an excellent drive and a good look to his teammate for the lay-in.
What do you reckon Randy Ray said at halftime?
I don't know, but he should bottle it up because it sure is working.
Based on practice today, I got a pretty good idea what he said.
Yeah, you know, he talked, oh, nice spin move that time by Kemp, but he talked to us before the game, the shoot-around, about not being an energy taker, but an energy giver, and I think that's what they've done this second half, come out with a lot of energy, got the crowd involved in the game. It's a whole new contest.
I think he was the giver. Otis through the contact, and they say it's an offensive foul.
Late call.
Maurice Kemp trying to stem the tide. He's got the Pirates back even. You see Otis with the 8 points and the 8 rebounds. He had his 4th double-double of the year on Saturday against Northern Iowa. And he's on the cusp of another one with still over 15 minutes to play. Hakeem Richmond back in there now for East Carolina wearing number 1. And Richardson is called for the hand check.
Interesting to see what East Carolina does coming out of the timeout. Jeff Lebo, I'm sure, talking to his perimeter players. Don't force it. We got the advantage by pounding the ball inside out, but here early, Weber State's picked up the perimeter defense, and all of a sudden some of the perimeter players for East Carolina is going off on their own, playing a little one-on-one.
They could pick up that perimeter defense with Ty Armstrong at 6'8" over on the East Carolina bench with 3 fouls. Richmond. He is not bashful.
Yeah, and just about every attempt East Carolina has had has been outside the three-point line. As opposed to that one we see from Davian Berry getting all the way to the rim. No one comes over to stop the ball.
Trying to get free, and that time Otis fouled him to stop the penetration.
Well, rule number one for young basketball players in transition game, when someone's got the ball, you have to stop the basketball first, and East Carolina didn't do that. You see Davian Berry going all the way untouched with a wide open layup.
Richmond goes to the bench, and Prince Williams checks back in for East Carolina. Bamford.
Yeah, he didn't want to shoot that one. He just couldn't quite get on balance. It was a good pass from his teammate Richardson, but just didn't feel comfortable in that shot. He was so wide open, had to shoot it.
Each team is led by as many as 7. Sweet pass. But Sampson charged, and there's Otis again.
Again, that senior leadership stepping up here in the CIT tournament has been playing exceptionally well. Comes over from the secondary defender, but gets outside the arc. Holds his ground, takes that charge. Takes some courage to take a charge on Robert Sampson, 6'8", 210 pounds. I think he's a little bit more than 210.
13-4 is the Weber State run right now. It's gotten them back in front by 2. And a whistle underneath.
I think Prince Williams got caught holding on to Bamforth that time. That's one way to keep him getting an open shot.
Sampson now checks out. And Ty Armstrong, 6'8", he's dominated in the post. He checks back in at the 14:01 mark with his 3rd foul. And it'll be interesting to see if Weber State goes right at him. Davion Berry getting a break over on the Weber State bench. Jelon Wheelwright with the basketball in for him. Bamforth open that time.
Playing with fire, though, giving too many of those open looks.
Wow. What a floater by Paul.
Paul does such a good job of just seeing what's given out there and then taking advantage of it. That time, it penetrated the middle, no one really came over. Got the floater to go.
East Carolina's gone back to that zone. They had a lot of success with it in the first half. And Williams converts.
Give Kim a lot of credit, diving for that loose ball to come up with it. East Carolina responding.
What the Pirates would like to do. Get a turnover and get it out in transition.
Good read that time by Otis. Caught the ball at the free throw line right in the middle of the zone. Took it to the hole. No one came over. Had they, he would have dropped it off to Tresnick, but got all the way to the basket.
The other thing he recognized was that Armstrong was the guy who was going to have to come over with those 3 fouls.
Yeah, Armstrong, if he's going to play, he's got to still go at it. He can't just be a space heater out there. He's got to move those feet, try to defend.
Wow, that was a hard foul.
Well, and Otis has been doing that all night long to Maurice Kemp, trying to be very physical with him. That time made sure Kemp unable to finish the shot. Good move by Kemp, the crossover. You see, trying to get his chest into him, and then also from behind, slapping and make sure the shot didn't go.
Jeff Lebo wants this officiating crew to go to the monitor, and I think they're going to. I'm not going to officiate here, but
Well, they called the foul, and it wasn't an elbow. I mean, he was trying to block the shot. I think this rule is going to be one, though, that they'll definitely take a look at in the offseason. Needs to be anyways. Just too many stoppages during the course of the game.
What they could do is they could call him for a flagrant one. And in order for it to be a flagrant one, it's not a legitimate play on the ball. It's a hold or a push from behind.
See, I think that's a legitimate play on the ball. He's trying to block it. Look, his eyes never takes his eyes off the ball. If you're trying to hit someone flagrantly, I mean, you're looking at your target. He's watching the ball to see if he can block it. Obviously, he slapped pretty hard going across, but he was watching the ball the whole time.
Or an illegal elbow above the shoulders. Now, flagrant two, excessive contact during live ball, excessive contact during dead ball, or extreme vulgar or abusive language. I think what you're trying to do is you're trying to protect the player, and now they're going to get together and talk about it. I mean, that's pretty good contact above the shoulders, which is what they're trying to protect. But in the confines of the rule, I see what you're saying, Mike.
Well, you know, similar on the one in the first half when Sampson tried to dunk. The foul was called there. It was above his shoulders. That's the inconsistency of the rule.
And they've got everybody at the free throw line, so what they've done is they've taken a look and they said it was a play on the ball.
Now, Kemp might disagree with us. He got hit pretty good there in the back. But
I think what happened was Kemp was so far out in front of Otis
that
when Otis went for the block, you know, Kemp got hit, knocked off balance, and couldn't really break his fall. And it turned out to be worse than it was intended. And I think all in all, this officiating crew got it right. Approaching the 12-minute mark in what has been a competitive championship game of the College Insider Tournament as Barry saw that defensive pressure and dribbled it right off his foot.
Very unusual. 2-to-1 turnover, assist to turnover ratio that time. Just kind of took his eye off what he was doing. That left-handed dribble.
Kemp saw some daylight. And he draws the contact. East Carolina on top of the Wildcats by a bucket.
Hey folks, I've never met anyone who didn't love a bar.
Homestanding Weber State looking for its 31st win of the year. But East Carolina with 22 victories. It's the first winning record they've had in Conference USA in 12 years. And the first time in 48 years of playing Division I basketball that they have gotten 20 wins, and they've done it under that man, Jeff Lebo. Big surge by Weber State to start this second half, a 13-4 run. Now the Wildcats trail by 4. Tough runner, won't fall for Barry. Joe Bollenboy, who separated that shoulder on Saturday, number 21, back in there for Weber State. And Kemp is called for a travel.
Yeah, I think that was a good call. I think Kemp was surprised a little bit that he was that open when he drove down the lane and took a little extra hop step on the way. Let's take a look and see. Nice little bounce pass on the two-man game. Picks it up 1, 2, 3, 4. So he didn't come to a jump stop. Maybe 3 steps. I think it's a good call.
Jeff Lebo didn't think so.
And now that was a travel as well.
Boy got it back, and he'll go to the line.
Weber State just crashing the offensive glass.
Boy, 6'9", 215, the freshman out of Fort Worth.
He leads the team in block shots with 62 coming into tonight's contest. Tell me it doesn't mean something to these kids. Dislocate your left shoulder and you're still playing as a right-hander.
Got an injection to help the pain before tonight's game.
Well, you got all summer to rest, right?
Got them both. East Carolina 7 of 8 from the free throw line. Weber State 5 of 7. Kemp looking to create some space, and he draws the foul.
Now, Boy got a little late with the body that time. We saw Otis trying to do that a little bit earlier, but on the drive by Kemp, you see the Weber State defenders trying to just put their chest, their body on Kemp and knock him off balance a little bit that time, a little bit too much. That called for the foul.
That's Boy's third. 6th against Weber State. East Carolina has committed 5. Ball was left open, and he decided, hey, I'll go ahead and take it.
Yeah, Wheelwright just fell down. Nothing he could do about that, but good job by Paul getting his balance before he shot it. Didn't hurry the shot.
Tresnick with a kick out. And here come the Pirates in transition. Paul again. That was not what Jeff Lebo wanted in that set.
No, they've made this run by going to the rim, attacking the paint. That time just pulling up, kind of bailing out Weber State by the pull-up jump shot.
And then Berry draws the contact at the other end.
Foul 4,
Prince Williams called for his third. Tresnick goes to the Weber State bench. And Frank Otis, who's been so effective, checks back in. Jeff Lebo counters by coming back with Robert Sampson. Ty Armstrong will go to the Pirate bench.
Yeah, I think that's a good move, pulling Armstrong out. You want to talk to him, say, hey, when you go back in, just feel like you have no fouls, because it's that late in the game, you can't worry about it at this point. Probably under the 8-minute mark when he gets back in. You can play 8 minutes with 2 fouls.
I don't think it's a foul thing. I think he might have a cut on his right hand as I'm looking at the East Carolina bench. Waiting for the trainer to tape him up. Richmond back in there now for East Carolina. Oh, boy, he got another tough shot to go.
Really good off the dribble. That deceptive quickness to get into those seams.
Weber State started the half with a 13-4 run. The Pirates have answered with a 9-2 run of their own. Otis inside, and he'll have a chance to complete the three-point play.
Again, Berry getting into the lane, reading the defense, dropping it down to his teammate Otis. And that's where Weber State's been so successful. You see Otis pinning Kemp on the outside and then goes across to use the basket, protect the ball.
I'll tell you what Otis does well, too, is he is so good with that initial ball fake, and then he can handle it well enough to put it on the deck and create some space for himself.
Yeah, he's got quick feet, 220, but very quick and light off his feet.
There's Armstrong. You see, he got those 2 fingers taped up right there. And we'll see how that affects him when he comes back in. Again, playing with 3 fouls. In a game that neither team has led by more than 7 points.
I'm a little surprised, too, that the pace has slowed down as much as both these teams really like to get up and down the floor in transition.
Got to make some shots to do that, my friend. Hall is fouled, and Bollenboy got him, and that'll be his fourth.
Goes to the philosophy of no easy layups, no layups. No threes, no layups, and contested twos.
Miguel Paul, senior transfer from Missouri, 87% from the free throw line. Second team All-Conference USA.
Phil Preston's a pretty good player at Missouri this past year. You imagine having those two in the same lineup out at the point guard spot. Maybe could have used him quite a bit because it seems like Pressey late in the game has made some mistakes, maybe fatigue. Where you see the foul trouble, both teams.
Paul in double figures now in 9 of his last 10. 19 points, 7 of 12 from the field. He's perfect from the free throw line.
Nice touch. A little teardrop floater by Scott Bamforth. He drives into the lane. Defense so concerned about taking away your three, opens up that drive in the middle.
We had our next to last media timeout on the next dead ball. Richmond in all kind of trouble. Barry.
Again, the unselfish play of Weber State. Bamforth said excellent pick along the baseline to help his teammate get open. The ball was delivered right on the spot.
Kemp up and under. Otis with the defense. Boy, both these teams badly looking for that media timeout. Bamforth.
Jeff Lebo with a quick timeout. Wants to stop that momentum. You just can't give the shooters from Weber State, whether it's Barry or Bamforth, those open looks. Time to get their feet set. It's going down.
There you take a look at why 70 is that magic number. And both teams in the low 60s with 6.5 minutes to play. We got a discussion going on over the table.
I'm not really sure. They brought over the athletic director from Weber State, Jerry Bovey, to I don't know what's the clock issue. What's going on over at the scorers table? Randy Ray wants to play. The team's on a roll. He doesn't want to stop that momentum. Got a chance to see these two teams shoot around today. I really like the way they both approached it. Randy Ray actually out there with his team in the shooting games, having some fun. It's the last game of the year for both these squads, win or lose. Just making the most of the opportunity.
So we've got fixed whatever needed to be fixed. Armstrong comes in there, and he's short on the jump hook.
And give Tresnick a lot of credit. He was getting dominated early part of the contest, but now he's really picked it up. I'm sure Coach had a few words for him to be a little tougher in the low post, and he's responded.
Bamforth with a lot of contact. Got it to Otis.
The Wildcat guards do an excellent job of just taking what is there. They don't force a lot of shots.
10-0 run for Weber State. Wow! How about the contact in the finish? And Paul still down on the deck. He's down there from exhaustion. We'll check on him, and we've got a great finish coming up when we come right back. A 10-0 run by the Wildcats, just stopped by an incredible shot from Miguel Paul, who will go to the line with a chance for his 22nd point of the night. And if he can get it, it would tie up this championship for the CIT with 5:37 to play. This crowd has been going from the outset. What a great atmosphere here, Kyle Mason.
That's been super. Something to be said for playing in the on-campus arenas when they pack them in like this, not out in the middle of a big dome floor.
And Paul misses his first free throw of the night. But on the rebound,
yeah, Armstrong got called for his fourth.
Carolina foul, 5 Armstrong. His fourth. 6 foul, 8.
So Armstrong goes to the bench with his fourth foul. 5:34 to play.
And Tresnick, a pretty good free throw shooter on the year, shooting 71.8. Makes the first.
And I'm going to guess,
Now 2 of 4 tonight.
going to guess that what Weber State does on the court will dictate how long Jeff Lebo leaves Armstrong on the East Carolina bench.
You got to give Tresnick credit, though. He, like I said, was really getting schooled early in the game, but he's manned up and started playing much more physical defense and even giving some offense.
Boy, what a nice pull-up by Kemp.
And Kemp's a real problem. I mean, because of his length, he can do so many things. He's at 15 points right now. That string of 8 in a row, 20 points or more, may be in jeopardy, but really stepping up down the stretch.
That was actually his 17th point of the night. We weren't tied a single time in the first half, and now we're tied for the 5th time in this second half. Barry took his eye off of it.
Oh, that's twice he's dribbled off his foot. Fortunate to get that one back. Good hustle.
And credit the Weber State bench, as I believe that was Randy Ray who called the timeout from over there.
Showing good quickness to get that timeout immediately when the ball went loose.
IU, who was playing in the Final Four of the NIT tonight.
Back on December 15th, so it's been quite a while since they've seen the loss here at the D-Center.
14 straight at home overall. Weber State has won 17 of its last 18. Nice feed to Otis.
Well, I can't say enough about the passing on the perimeter or the interior. That time, big man to big man. Tresnick to Otis for the lay-in.
So credit the Wildcat bench. They get the timeout, and then they draw up a winning play coming out of that break. Here's Kemp. Boy, he got a good look at it. Jeff Lebo looks to his bench. I'd be very surprised if after this final media timeout, we didn't see Ty Armstrong back in the Pirate lineup. for it's off the screen. Berry lost it again. Probably had the shot, but turned it over on the pass.
Yeah, once again, Tresnick right there with his hands, getting the deflection, leading to the steal. Doing it on both ends of the floor.
And now Weber State spreading the floor, using some clock. The Wildcats with a 9-0 advantage in offensive rebounds, Mace. Shot clock at 7. What a feed! Oh, Tresnick with another sneaky slam.
And another play with excellent passing. Starts with a little pick and roll when the defense comes to help. It leaves the baseline big man wide open.
6 straight for the Wildcats. They lead it by 6.
Hey, folks,
I don't think anybody in this building, maybe his teammate, thought he was going to go up and slam those last 2 baskets.
You know, Weber State has kind of given East Carolina a little bit of their own medicine. East Carolina averages over 17 assists on the season. And right now, Weber State's at 19 assists. Still 2:50 to play.
Tresnick can't complete the and one.
He's got to stay with that. He's already running back on defense when he let go of it.
Ty Armstrong still on the East Carolina bench.
Look how hard Weber State's closing out those three-point shooters.
All off the glass. Sampson's offensive rebound. It's their first of the night, and it got Kemp a triple. I think that one was headed to Berry, but Tresnick, again with those sneaky hops, pulled it out of midair. One possession game, and where does Weber State look? And there's a collision underneath the basket. I don't believe there was a foul call.
Roberts, Campbell, and Berry got tied up along the baseline. I think they may just call it an official timeout just to let him get untangled. Problem is now for Weber State, only 11 seconds on the shot clock. They were right in the middle of their set when they blew the whistle.
So here they come. And Berry will go to the line as Sampson bumped him.
Pirate foul, 12, Ronald Sampson. His third. Team foul, 10.
Whether it's man-to-man or zone defense, Dave, that's been the real key for Weber State, being able to attack from the perimeter, get into the lane, and then make those nice little drop passes to their teammates. If it's a zone, the big man steps to the high post, and then it goes to the rim and reads it. And the man-to-man, they're just quick enough on the perimeter coming off those picks. It opens up those gaps to the lane.
Berry, a 75% free throw shooter.
Whoa. Touched all the rim there, but it went in.
His 15th point of the night. Paul right through the defense. And now he'll go to the line.
Excellent quickness by Paul, going all the way. Started the offense pretty quickly out by half court, kind of stretched the floor a little bit, gave him a little bit more room to maneuver.
So now 1:43 to go. Paul with a chance to once again make it a one-possession game.
87.3% from the free throw line on the year. The guy you would want up there if you're Jeff Lebo.
And I guess Lebo has gone with the decision that he wants the additional ball handler, the additional shooter, because Ty Armstrong remains on the East Carolina bench. Be interesting to see if he comes with any full court pressure now.
Oh. Shooter's rims, that's for sure.
And here comes that full court press with Kemp on the head of the press. And Kemp called for a quick bump.
Yeah, Jeff Lebo, you can see not real happy with the call. Didn't feel like the play we've seen earlier in the contest. See if Treznik stays with this free throw this time. He can't be fading away when you shoot it. See how he's back on his heels by the time he releases it? You got to be up on your toes, reaching to put your hand over the top of the rim to cover it.
Ooh, that man's not happy. Treznik has missed his last three.
Again, fading away.
And he's a 74% free throw shooter. Richardson out there with the defense. Here's Paul again. Wow, Sampson just got a fingertip on it.
Yeah, an excellent play that time. East Carolina opened up the floor again, letting Paul drive and read.
Sixth tie of the second half. This one comes as we approach the 1 minute mark in the championship game of the CollegeInsider.com postseason tournament.
Trying to get Bamforth the ball coming off that baseline pick.
He gets another screen from Treznik.
Good call.
And Paris Roberts-Campbell is going to be whistled for the foul. No, they say Sampson. That's his fourth. But that comes with just 4 seconds on the shot clock.
Well, it was a foul, though. But on the other end, here's the way that Paul stretched the floor and then just lob pass to his teammate. I think the crowd was looking for the offensive goaltending. The ball was still in the sphere, but no whistle.
Wow. And Bamforth misses the free throw. He's an 87% free throw shooter. Weber State now just 7 of 16 from the line, make it 8 of 17.
If they take pride in their defense, they've got to get one good stop.
Both teams, as you see in the double bonus. Sampson free.
Oh, and you don't want to foul.
What a set play at the end of the game.
You see again, just a half pick. Sampson rolls right down the lane, and Barry, for some unknown reason, comes over and just a little slap ticky-tack foul. Play like that, you got to get your money's worth.
And Sampson can't convert. 1-point game, and Weber State will take a timeout with 27